What's up, everybody? My name is Ben. Today, I want to take a look at my $800 Apple ecosystem. How much can you get for $800 in 2024 in the Apple world? Well, let's take a dive into it and see. And the very first piece of this Apple ecosystem has to be the M1 MacBook Air. And this right now is just far and away the budget king of the Apple world right now. I got this one for only 360 or so dollars. And I did have to repair the Thunderbolt ports on it. I made a tutorial of that. But outside of that, this computer has been perfect. The battery lasts forever. The screen is fantastic. The speakers are excellent. And there's really almost nothing that I feel like I'm missing out on with this computer compared to newer MacBooks. While the newer M2 and M3 have definitely gotten faster, they definitely have given us more performance, more brighter displays, louder speakers. They look nicer. I feel like for the core Apple laptop experience that you need, this MacBook does just about everything you need it to. And on top of that, I think this design is just classic. I think there's really nothing that can beat that nice wedge shape that just really defines what a MacBook Air is. And I think this M1 MacBook Air is really going to have significant software support for years to come. The M1 really doesn't show any signs of slowing down yet. And given how good the battery life is, I think this is a fantastic machine for just about anybody who needs a computer that's portable, that's also powerful, and that has a nice keyboard, nice speakers, nice display. There's really nothing wrong about this package here. So I highly recommend it, especially for the prices they're selling for now. Now, the next piece of this Apple ecosystem is the Apple Watch Series 5. Now, this is the stainless steel Apple Watch Series 5. So along with the stainless steel, you also get a sapphire display, which is super, super nice and also prevents a lot of the scratches that you're typically going to get with a newer Apple Watch that doesn't have a sapphire display. And this one definitely hasn't stood the test of time super well in terms of its battery life. If I go ahead here to battery health, right now I am sitting at some pretty bad battery health. And what that means is it can't make it through the entire day. You can see I use it this afternoon to walk on the treadmill, and I had to charge it already just around 5 o'clock to even use it for the rest of the day. So that being said, I wouldn't recommend this watch for most people. I think you should probably get a newer Apple Watch if you're serious about it. But this is such a nice looking watch, especially for the price that I paid. And the fact that it has the always on display really makes it stand apart compared to the newer Apple Watch SE models. I think this thing has really stood the test of time in terms of the way it looks. Now, the next piece of the Apple ecosystem that I love and the very center of it is the iPhone 13 mini. Now, I got this phone for also really, really cheap. And considering just the performance and everything that you get with this phone, I don't think you can beat it for that price, especially if you're someone who likes the more pocketable size of the iPhone 13 mini. Now, I also have an iPhone 14 that I'm not including in this video, but you can see just how much smaller the 13 mini is compared to the 14. And for me, my hands aren't small, but I really do appreciate being able to just touch the entire surface of the display. And especially when I go out running, I don't have fancy shorts, so I just kind of hold my phone while I'm running. And it's so much easier to hold that phone and run or do anything where you're having to hold it for an extended period of time with that phone than it is for the iPhone 14, where it's not nearly as handleable as the 13 mini. And what's really nice about the 13 mini right now in 2024 is just how cheap it's getting. I can show you here just a few listings of how cheap these things are. But all things considering, you're getting a very competent phone. It's one that has the A15 Bionic chip, which means you're going to get the same level of software support that you're getting with the iPhone 14 or even the iPhone SE third generation, which is still being sold along with the iPhone 14. So this thing still has years and years of software support ahead of it. And on top of that, there really is not a lot that you're missing out on compared to newer iPhones with this one, especially when you compare it side by side with the iPhone 14, which is still for sale. They're essentially the same phone. They have the same A15 Bionic chip, just a slightly different camera. And really, you're just missing out on the ProMotion display, the always on display that you get in the iPhone Pro lineup, and then, of course, the 3 cameras if you're wanting one of those Pro phones. But really, this is still everything that defines what a modern iPhone is. And for the price that these things ask for, you're getting a lot for the money. And now for the most important and last piece of my Apple ecosystem is the AirPods. Now these are the second generation AirPods, not the first revision, but the second revision of them. And they don't have the longest battery life anymore, but considering the sound quality that you get with these and just how convenient they are to have in the way that they sync between Apple devices and auto pair, I think this is an indispensable part of an Apple ecosystem. And I still don't think it's worth it to spend more money on the newer versions of the AirPods 3, or even the AirPods Pro. I just think that these offer so much for what they are that there's really not much that you're missing out on. I still am amazed at the sound quality that you can get out of these things, and regularly seeing them on Amazon for just about $89 or even $79. I've seen them drop that low. I don't think um, I don't think there's much that you're really missing out on compared to newer AirPods. Now, that being said, if you are somebody who does appreciate the noise cancellation or the greater noise isolation you get with AirPods Pro, you can make that case for those. But I think the most important thing with AirPods is getting them new, because you want to have the new batteries in these things, because that is the greatest wear element of these AirPods. Is after a few years, once the battery doesn't last as long, then it starts to get really annoying. For example, with these AirPods, for me, I can only get about 30 minutes of use out of them if I'm on a phone call, which makes them almost unusable if you're realistically using them for longer meetings or phone calls. I also think that these AirPods just fit in your ear just so nicely. I think there's just a simple design to these that really works. And there's none of those silicone tips that are getting dirty with earwax. They just simply fit in there and they do the job. So there you have it. That is my $800 Apple ecosystem. We came in with the iPhone 13 mini for $240, the Apple AirPods for $100, an Apple MacBook Air for about $400, and then of course the Apple Watch Series 5 for about $100. And all things considering, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a lot compared to the latest and greatest from Apple. So let me know down below what y'all think of my Apple ecosystem. What would you change? What would you do differently? And what is your Apple ecosystem like? Thanks a ton. Bye.